In section 3.2b, we're going to be focusing on finding that regression line, and we're going to use a variety of different methods, and we're going to look at residual plots. So the least squares regression line. Different regression lines produce different residuals. The regression line we want is the one that minimizes the sum of the squared residuals. That's why it's called the least squares regression line. So the least squares regression line of y on x is the line that makes the sum of the squared residuals as small as possible. So if you take these distances, between the data points and you find the area of the square, so we're going to square them, this distance, this amount of squares, that area, we want to make that as small as possible. That's the best regression line. So that's called the least squares regression line. A residual plot is one of the first principles of data analysis, is to look for an overall pattern or for striking departures from the pattern. A regression line describes the overall pattern of a linear relationship between two variables. We can see departures from this pattern by looking at residuals. A residual plot is a scatter plot of the residuals against the explanatory variable. Residual plots help us assess how well a regression line fits the data. So here again is our regression line. And if we take that regression line and find the value of each residual, so the distance at each point is from the line, and plot that, this is our residual plot, you can see that it's scattered all over. This is good. This means that a residual plot magnifies the deviations of the points from the line, making it easier to see unusual observations and patterns. A residual plot should show no obvious pattern, and the residuals should be relatively small in size. So if you see a pattern in a residual plot, then that means that a linear model is not appropriate. So for example, we can see a pattern here when we graph this residual plot. We can see a pattern. So that's not a good linear model. Same thing here. There is a pattern to these residuals, so this would not, whatever this data set would not be a good. We will discuss how we can do all of these things on the calculator in the technology corners coming up.